essence of community coming together for events lies within its ability to foster unity, strengthen bonds, and celebrate collective achievements. We saw this play out in the recent Preston Area Gala, which not only showcased cultural diversity and local talent, but also served as a platform for sharing stories, exchanging ideas, and nurturing a sense of belonging. Joining me today to discuss the highlights of this event is Rachelle Turple-Christmas, who works as a community developer for the Halifax Regional Municipality. Welcome to the show, Rachelle. My
Thank
friend,
you for having
my
me.
girl, my sister.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you on here finally. And before we get into, the highlights of the event,
Right.
tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, all of that good stuff.
I feel like I'm doing this so often these days. I'm Rachelle Turple-Christmas. I'm from North Preston. Born and raised. I lived in Nova Scotia my entire life. I lived away from home for nearly 20 years, so I'm the prodigal child returned back since 2021. I am the community developer for our Preston Township, all the way out to Sheet Harbor, actually, so I share the area with another fellow CD. And that's kind of where I'm at in community, just trying to support people standing in the gap for what it is that we need.
Absolutely. And you do a fabulous job with it.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
And I'm so glad that you're back home working with us because you're very dynamic. You're very, you're perfect for the role. You're perfect for exactly what the community needs you to do.
Oh, you give me too much credit.
Oh, no. I have to give you your flowers while you're here with me. So now that we have an idea who you are and where you're from, what role did you play in the event, in the Preston Area Gala this year?
Well, I kind of got in where I fit in. So the gala takes a lot of hands on deck to put together. So in terms of planning, that was left to a whole other division.
Yes.
I was asked to MC with my compadre Sammy. He did a wonderful job.
You both look fabulous, by the way.
Did we ever?
Oh,
It was
my
so
God.
cute. It was such a good reason to get out and get dressed up. It was beautiful. I was the MC for the evening, but we also did some behind the hand stuff just to make sure that the night actually went off without a hitch in terms of like blowing up balloons and setting up tables and setting up the event itself, just to make sure that everything was in place.
And successful and went as smooth as possible, right?
Yeah.
Because we want people to show up there and have fun and look around the place and be in awe, right? Like they deserve the best. So roll out the red carpet, right?
I feel like people had the red carpet rolled out. I said a few times, I'm waiting for Barack and Michelle to show up.
You did.
Because the room was glowing. It was.
It was. You're absolutely right. It was. That black, that gold, and that white. Let's talk about the fashion for a second. Because I need to jive right in there. You know me, okay? So what I seen come through those doors and grace that floor was, I guess what I seen trending, especially for the men.
Right.
Okay? With these half and half suits, okay? These block suits with black hair and then a printed gold, bright, vibrant gold, and accentuated in appliques. Like, they stepped out. They weren't afraid to be bold and fashion forward.
It was beautiful to see.
Yeah.
I think so many people, too, are looking for a reason to wear their clothes. As my dad used to say, I got to wear my clothes, honey. Coming off of COVID and having everybody so cooped up and not really having reasons to get out, unless it was to go to a funeral, it was nice to get out and dress up to celebrate life simply because we are here.
And let our hair down. Yes, let our hair down.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of couples matching, complimenting each other, right, in their wardrobe, in their style, in their dress. And then it's just like, it was just awesome. I don't know really how else to describe it. What do you feel? What trends did you catch?
I loved it. There was so much good energy in that room.
Yes, it was.
I don't know how many times I pulled someone aside to say, let me get a picture because you're looking so cute. Like, I felt like everybody was just out to their best.
Absolutely.
And in their finest. And not only did they look good, everyone was glowing from the inside out.
Happy.
Like that energy, that happiness, that joy. It was a complete transformation of, some of the energy that we've been feeling in community lately with some of the challenges. And this was just a really great reason to get out and celebrate our joy. And I want to be part of more events like this.
Yeah, me too.
I thought it was great. I absolutely loved every second of it. So in terms of the fashion, I think we set a trend, honey.
Yeah.
And I think the black and the gold and white theme was absolutely
It was golden.
perfect.
It was golden.
It was
So,
perfect.
Wait a second, because we haven't gotten to the best dress yet. You, my dear, had 2 dresses. Okay, let me tell you. Because I'm thinking, okay, I know you told me this is what you're going to do. And I said, go ahead, go for it, because you're the MC. Why not? That black dress, okay, that was the icing on the cake. But that gold dress, oh, girl. I was so proud of you. I said, look at my
did you
baby girl.
like it?
No, it was beautiful. It
Thank
made me
you.
think of Felicia Gallant. You know, I think it was All My Children. And she was always gallivanting and doing these, you know, little feather boas. But that's how I seen you. Like that
Very
Felicia.
glam.
Yes, absolutely.
Very glam. That's what I was going for. You know what's funny? When I was deciding what to wear and how to do my hair and makeup and stuff, I was trying to channel
Yes.
the fashion of the 50s and the fashion of like the 40s and how my grandmother would have approached something like this if this was her night out.
Right.
And I was trying to really get that vintage glam kind of look. And Fashion Nova had my back, honey, because I was Felicia Gallant on a budget. It was wonderful.
You were. And I think just everything just came into play. Like maybe, you know, when you have such a big event,
Yeah.
you want it to go well, right? And having the right people, the right volunteers, the right kind of help really makes that go without a hitch,
I
right?
think so too.
Yeah.
And the planning that goes into such things, like, let's be honest, it can be a bit of a nightmare when you're leading up to the last minute details and you're
What could go
scared.
wrong?
Right. You want everything to come off perfectly. But the ladies that and gentlemen that were in charge of planning this did a phenomenal job.
Absolutely.
They
I
did
would
a
agree.
phenomenal job. And I'm really, really proud of them.
Absolutely.
And the only complaint that we received for the night, because there was one, was this can't come around soon enough.
Okay, I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Now let's
that's
jump
great.
into the seniors that we honored because it was about them.
Yeah.
Right? And I think we had 2 or 1 from each community.
We did.
East Preston, North Preston, Cherrybrook, and Lake Loon.
Yes.
And I see that we have one of the programs in front of
We
us.
do.
If you want to read off some of those names so that we can make sure that they get their flowers on this show today.
Absolutely.
And just rhyme off like, you know, their
So
names.
I don't know if these are in the particular order we did in the night, so I'll just go according to this. My nerves had gotten a hold of me that night, so we were kind of all over the place. But Miss Bernadine Sparks, she has been involved with our coffee and chat. She was actually yesterday, or was it Thursday or Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Supporting with our last close-up event. It was great to see her, and
Yes.
she does really great work in community, so it was nice to feel that energy. And as a younger woman who's quickly approaching seniorhood,
Don't talk about it.
it makes you want to do more.
Yes, it does.
It really does.
Or
It
stay
makes you-
involved in community.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Who do we have next?
Mr. Aubrey Brown,
And what community are they from?
he is from, you know what? It doesn't say here.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Doesn't
So we'll
say
have
here.
to make sure we get that.
Yeah, we'll have to get that in there because it doesn't say here. Miss Audrey Gross, who is from the community of Cherrybrook.
Cherrybrook, yeah.
Miss Ethel Frazier, who is from the community of North Preston. And Mr. Spencer Sparks, who is from the community of Cherrybrook and Lake Loon.
Yeah.
Miss Eliza Brooks, who is from East Preston, and Mr. Chester Downey, who is from North Preston.
Right. So I think Mr. Brown's from East Preston. And Miss Eliza Brooks, if I say, I had mentioned her on the show before, 105.
Crazy.
105.
I need
That
to
ain't
eat what
crazy.
she's
That's
eating.
fantabulous. That means we
I
have
need to
long
stop
life.
eating what she stopped eating. That's what I need to do.
That's long life at its best,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
And you've seen
It
her alive, vibrant, strong, and very spunky, right? Yeah, absolutely.
But you know what's funny? Because while I was reading the names and reading the biographies from the people that we celebrated, it dawned on me that we should not have done this in celebration of our seniors. We should have done this in celebration of our elders,
Right.
because these people are not seniors.
Seniors.
They've surpassed that.
Absolutely.
They didn't just
Absolutely.
grow older and become
Right.
seniors. They set and left an example for us and have become the
And
inspiration.
still thriving, Miss Rachelle.
Absolutely.
Still thriving.
Absolutely. And it made me feel really like self-reflective, like, and say, as I grow older, I want to be an elder worth respecting. That is my goal in this lifetime. I want to be like these people because they've clearly left a footprint. They've clearly left an impression on our generation.
Absolutely. I would
And they've
agree.
made such an impact in the 3 communities that we all come from in this particular area that it's monumental and it matters. It matters immensely. And it's so beautiful to celebrate life while we're still here to do it.
other things that I want to highlight too is the entertainment, the live entertainment. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about your poem. Your
Okay,
poem
we'll get to that.
beautiful.
Thank you. And okay, maybe I'll jump into that right now. That poem was written with the community in mind.
Yeah.
It was from the heart. It was from a place in me that I see them.
We
I'm
could
proud
feel
of
it.
them.
I
Really?
felt like you were talking to me. It was beautiful.
Okay.
And to hear that recognition, I don't know how many people realize that how important being validated
Yes.
by your own community matters, and to be seen and to be told to your face that I see you. That's beautiful. And
Yeah.
you did a wonderful job. And I was very touched by your poem.
Oh,
I didn't
thank
want to
you.
hug you on stage and embarrass you, but
Why not?
I had to fight the urge, but I was going to.
No, that's what we do. We do that whenever we see each other. We embrace each other. And I think that I didn't have an issue writing that poem because I knew what I wanted to say. I had some help with the editing, of course, because
Right.
I wanted to make sure that somebody had a second pair of eyes on that and that what I was saying was flowing and that it made sense. Because when I read it and when I delivered it, I wanted everybody to receive it. You know what I mean? It's like, for me, as a woman, stepping into a room, I want to be received well. I want to be
Right.
appropriate in what we're saying. And so everybody in that room, right, matters to us because they
Yeah.
raised us.
Yeah.
Even to my hair, to the dress that I put on or chose to wear. They have shown us that. Children learn what they see.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's what in my education, growing up in early childhood education, that's vitally important. We
Right.
learn what we see. It's not what we're told or even if somebody taught us that. We learn
We
what
model
we see.
behavior.
Right. And I always see my grandma, always seen the church ladies stepping out in their best and their big hats or whatever. And that's what happened. We
Right.
had church there on that
It
event.
was. Did we ever? Did we
had
ever? And you
church.
touched on something really important. I mentioned it to our audience the night of the gala, and it's worth repeating. As someone who left Nova Scotia and
Right.
has come
Come
back,
back.
who left the country, who left the province, and then come back. It's only when you're back here that you realize what you've taken for granted, right? The relationships with our seniors, the relationships
Yeah.
with the people who raised us, the parents of my friends I'm getting to know as an adult.
Adults. Yep.
And seeing how wonderful they are as people, it's no surprise that I have such really great friends.
Yeah.
You know, and the families that they come from. Miss Evelyn Sparks was there, and I was so touched to see her because she's like a grandmother to
Yeah.
me, and to see her out dressed to the nines and shining like a
Laughter.
Oh, it was
right?
beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
It was absolutely beautiful.
was.
And then it makes us also not take for granted the connection that we have to keep with our youth, right? Because
Right.
now we're the ones that are moving into those golden
absolutely.
positions eventually, hopefully, if we're lucky enough to do
About
it.
it, please. Stop.
Right? Age is a
nothing
gift.
but a number, but it is a gift. Absolutely,
gift.
Absolutely,
Age is
I
a
do agree
gift.
with that. And you know what? I'm not ashamed of my age because we don't carry ourselves. We roll and run and just take in the places and the times that we're in. And that's why I said together in
Yeah.
this time, in this space, together, right? In this moment, I'm acknowledging you. I see all of the things that make you beautiful and make other people afraid.
Right? And the people are aging like fine wine and not like milk and bananas.
Okay.
It's lovely.
Okay, yes.
It's lovely to see.
Right,
And
yeah.
it's just a really great example to know that like we are in a position now to give back to our community in so many ways are important, but
Yeah.
these gestures of appreciation and respect
Yes.
go a long
Long
way.
way.
We talk about history and we talk about people who are important with respect to our roots from the way back when. But what about the people that are right alongside us right now?
Right now, absolutely.
Yeah,
And saying that in regards to the seniors, we also had a lot of young people in that room.
we did.
And their energy that they brought was just as invigorating, right? It was just as contagious because people got up on the dance floor
Yes.
and they were just dancing and chiming in together. So all of that I loved. And if anything did go wrong behind the scenes,
Nobody knew.
Because that whole, that energy, that vibe that we keep talking about took over.
It took over.
Right?
It's
what shines
usurped
forth.
everything,
Yes.
which was the point. And the young people that were there, to the people that helped us serve the food and make the food come out, everybody's heart and hands were in the right place
Yeah,
that night.
yeah.
It was electric. It was so nice.
It was,
such a great thing to be
It-
part of. I really, really enjoyed my time.
It was. And we also had a cleanup crew that came back and helped took things down too, which was lovely.
Yes, I
Okay.
was not part of that crew because I'm a soccer mom. So the next day I was stripped of all my glory. I went back to being Cinderella in the
Okay.
rags. And went to soccer.
Oh, I love it. Cinderella had a great story, so it's all good. Last thing, too, that I guess before we wrap up here, the food, right? Like, my plate came out lovely and hot or whatever, so I really enjoyed it. And we were hungry. Oh, girl, we were hungry. Because we're
hangry.
So the food was good. Yes. I did enjoy it. And I heard a lot of people said they enjoyed it too. So hats off to Mr. Vernon for the food and the service.
The food and service was amazing. The bar service was amazing. Everybody that, even sat on the desk to take tickets as we walked and seated people in. We had so many helping hands and smiles and just kindness. And that's what we really showcased on Saturday night. We showcased the kindness and the joy of our community. And it was so nice to do it in North Preston. I can't remember the last time I've been so proud. Anybody can tell you, I'm a North Preston girl, tried and true. And I lived away forever. And people ask me, where you're from? You must be from the islands. No, I'm from the peninsula, honey. I'm from North Preston. Right? Yes. And that means something to me. And coming home and being able to support everything that's for the betterment of our future and for our kids, I'm all in because it's what has to happen, right?
We're invested.
It was great. We are totally invested. We definitely have skin in the game.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And there was other things that I just want to make sure that we just acknowledge people, like the 360 booth, whatever.
Fun.
Yes, absolutely. There was a lineup for that. And it just brought another element of, just doing something together and being on that platform and dancing and getting your groove on kind of thing. So I just want to acknowledge everybody. The DJ was great.
DJ
right?
was fabulous.
That was Darren and Nisi who did that.
Even the gentleman that played the music, the ambiance music while we were eating and that controlled the sound for us. It was just really great. There really wasn't anything to complain about. And I think anything that we did have a bit of a struggle with, we've made note of it so that we can do better next time. We learn from our mistakes. We take that into consideration for the next time and we plan accordingly. And I think that's all we can do.
We grow.
Absolutely.
Right?
And hopefully we can get it bigger and better. It was awesome.
It was good. Okay, so the one thing we didn't get into was the live entertainment. So Conquer for Christ, the drummer boy who stood up on that drums and went off. You hear me? The drummer Susie Henson, who also sang a lovely piece, and Latonya, who also got up and sang, and Mr. Day. Oh my goodness.
All I know is the spirit was in that room. There was a sweet, sweet spirit in that room, and we got out of our skin with joy, not just because the music was good, the messaging of the music was good.
Oh, yes. Speaking of messaging, our keynote speaker, Dr. Karen Hudson.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Her key points about, just history and education, right? And empowerment.
Yeah.
Those are key things. Not that we haven't heard them before, but the very fact that she came from a place that we know who she is.
Absolutely.
And she knows who we are. Yeah. And she can speak directly to those things that we need to hear.
Education, history are pillars of development, right? And when we talk about how we want to advance our communities, we have to understand what shaped our history in order to have a forward-moving, future-forward idea of how we're going to shape and build our village. And so people like Dr. Karen Hudson are monumental in that, because not only do they stand as a contemporary embodiment of who we can be, she's an embodiment of who we were, because she shows that we need to appreciate that and that it's valid and that it matters. And I really appreciated her keynote speech. I had tears because I just felt it was very intimate to me. As well, I also would like to thank Minister Gross, because her words were very touching.
Absolutely.
And I mean, these are accomplished women. These are women that are, have
taken up the spaces now.
Right?
Yeah.
They have done so much with respect to leaving a footprint of knowledge and education and visibility.
And taking bold steps.
Absolutely. And I think that matters so much, because I know that when we were young, we're women of a certain age, it wasn't as common as it is now to see ourselves reflected outward, right?
Yep.
And now that we do, I have so much less fear than I did coming back to Nova Scotia, that my children and my children's children will see themselves reflected in society. Because I'm going to be honest, when we lived in Ontario, the community we lived in, we didn't really see ourselves reflected in population.
There was diversity, but not
with respect to us. Yeah. Exactly. And so now to kind of experience that I'm having a renaissance, but for them, they're being brought in and ushered into their, most formative years
Yes.
with people who are in lockstep with them, who look like them, right? And who really believe
And can relate.
and can relate
Yeah.
and believe in them.
Yes, absolutely.
I work shoulder to shoulder with my own
Yeah.
with my own mentors, and I never thought I would have that privilege to work in a building with Rosella Frazier,
Yes.
and with Rhonda Johnson,
I was
and
going to
with
say Miss
Miss
Wheel,
V,
but
Miss Wheel, Miss V.
Mr. B, yes, yes.
These people raised me. These people were the women in the community that I really wanted to impress when I was a young girl, and that I wanted to be good for, because, well, I would probably get a beating if I wasn't, but also because they set examples for us.
Yes, they did.
They were just a pillar. Carrie Lynn
Yes.
Glasgow to me was
she just got an award for her volunteerism.
Amazing.
Yes, absolutely.
And I want to take this time to really acknowledge the fact that we owe it to ourselves and each other to take advantage of any opportunity to celebrate and educate our volunteers in community.
Yes.
So we have the volunteer conference that happens annually every November. This year it's going to happen on November 15th, I believe, which is a Friday. It's a day of learning. So the morning consists of networking events and icebreakers, and just an opportunity for us to get together in the spirit of volunteerism. And there's a lot of care and helping hands in that room. And the second event happens every spring during Volunteer Week. It is the Volunteer Conference.
Yes.
And I encourage each and every one of you that have people in community that are doing the work, nominate them.
Absolutely.
Nominations open in December, so we're well ahead of the game.
So
but
you'll
I'm going
remind
to
us
keep on.
again.
I'm
Yeah.
going to keep
Okay.
reminding you to do this, because I would really like to see us reflected in
Absolutely.
those activities as well, because they're really great for both education and visibility, and we
Absolutely.
deserve that. So
Absolutely.
let's
Well
take
said.
advantage
Thank
of
you
it.
very much. The other person I want to acknowledge too is Dr. Mayanne Francis, the Honorable Dr. Mayanne Francis, who is retired out of service.
Yes.
But her passion to be supportive of the Black community, right? And to be visible amongst us.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, she's from Whitney Pier or whatever, but she loves the Black community.
Yeah.
Because those are her people.
And we
Love
always
her.
see her smiling face whenever we're there to celebrate.
yes.
And that feels good,
Yes,
because it
yes.
feels like support. And it lets you know that what you're doing is valid.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it wasn't, there would be no participation from the people who actually have gone before us and made a dent. I made another connection that's very important too with the work that we do in community, with one of the pioneers of community development, and that would be Mr. and Mrs. Roger Smith.
Yes.
So
I
that
call
we
him
had
my
great
second parent.
we had great conversations as
Yes,
well.
yes.
So it was just a great
Lovely. It was
opportunity to
lovely.
network
Absolutely.
and be out with our own energy. And it was really
Absolutely.
great.
And before I'm going to read a little excerpt from the poem just to kind of end us here. But the other thing that I see with greatness, not only just our people in those seats, also our allies, collaborators, partners, service providers who have anything to do with the community.
Yep.
They were sitting there, brought tables, supported, and I think they also need to be recognized, because you need to choose to be there.
Absolutely.
We grow up there. We don't have a choice.
Absolutely.
But they choose to.
They chose to, and you know what was funny?
Yeah.
I tried very hard to speak slowly and enunciate while I was on my MC duties.
Yes.
Because communication is everything, but at the same time, I felt so compelled to be myself.
Yes.
I didn't feel the need
But that's your
at all,
home.
right? And it felt good, because as I felt the stress to come off of me, I didn't need to code switch. I didn't need to do any of that, because I'm home. I knew that the people in the room could also understand what we were saying in our own vernacular, and it matters.
It does.
You know what it
does.
says. If people
But it
say
makes
we talk
it,
fast,
I know, but listen, here's what it also
and
does.
our thing is, if you can't understand what I'm saying, I'm not talking to you.
But the other thing is, Rachelle, stop. The other thing is that it keeps us real in front of the people who need us to be that for them. Like we don't have to, like you said, code switch.
No,
We're who
we can
we are.
we can be
Yeah,
who we
absolutely,
are.
absolutely, absolutely.
And that, I think, sums up everything. To be who we are and to put our energy and our efforts into the places we are from, I feel like it's the greatest gift on earth, because how many people get to toil in their own gardens?
Absolutely. Hey, sister. Okay. So let me read this as we wind up, because I just, as I'm listening to Rachelle talk, I just wanted to read this little piece, and I will actually make this accessible for the Preston Township, because it belongs to them. So it says, I get nervous when I read my own stuff, but that's okay. I see a community, a body of people, a people of royal descent, a chosen generation, a beloved kinfolk, a community, a village, a township with deep, deep roots. Our heritage we can trace, our story can never be erased. Too much blood, sweat, and tears have paved the way to the right here, the right now. Oh Lord, have mercy. Preston, how I see you.
Love it.
That is what I wrote. So, and again, that's just a little bit of what I want. And I just felt so proud doing that for them. So I won't hold up anything further. I just want to thank Rachelle for being a guest today.
It was lovely. Thank you for the invitation.
Sitting here,
I
being
appreciate
in
it.
without an agenda and just having a casual conversation about
Yes.
the highlights of both. Because I think what we appreciate, it can just come naturally. We talk about this every day in community, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually it's really great. It's great. And I really appreciate what you're doing. So thank you for building a space where we can come and talk about the things that are community minded. I hope that this is not the last time I get to appear on your show to talk about some more serious things. I really need to like nerd out and talk about the things that are more pressing in a sense that it's absolutely, and not so much issues. We have work that needs to be done.
Yes.
And if you'll allow me to kind of help this be a vehicle to bring some of that information out, I would be more than happy to
You're
share
always
space
welcome
with you again.
on the show.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
You're here today to get your feet wet.
Oh, they're wet.
So we're here talking to Rachelle at Turple-Christmas. Whether it's through festivals, fundraisers, or cultural celebrations, we encourage you to reach out to us and let us know how we can help create lasting memories, promote collaboration, inspire positive beyond what we can think or imagine. I'm Nicole Johnson, and I look forward to seeing you on the next event. That's the show.